Hey, it's Rob. I'm the MLA for your riding, Saanich North and the Islands. And the way we always start days is with coffee, just like the happiest people in the world. And I'm going to come back to that. So one of the things that we got to do this session was meet some Finns. They're the happiest people in the world. But I'm also the happiest person in the world after I get a good coffee at the Emporium. It's a great way to start the day. We are so lucky to live and do our work and enjoy all of this on the lands of the Saanich people. And over the past month and couple of months, we've really had to deal with a lot of critical issues involving Indigenous people in this province. A threat to repeal DRIPA, the Cowichan decision, racism against Indigenous people. And so what I did just recently is I hosted an information forum on the Cowichan decision, on UNDRIP, on a whole variety of issues. And that was all in aid of creating a brighter future for Indigenous folks, kids on this planet and in this riding. And so if you want to learn all about the current issues related to Indigenous rights and how we can have a path forward, fully supported by an amazing former MLA, Adam Olson, you should check out my website. You'll see the video, and I'd really encourage you to watch it, because we're here to do this hard work so that we can create a future for Indigenous folks and families that is just as bright as the one we enjoy. Well, it's been quite a session. You know, we've dealt with a budget with a huge deficit and cuts to healthcare and cuts to housing and impacts on autistic families. We had the big battle over DRIPA and trying to make sure we carry on with reconciliation. We had some good news too. We passed the Comox Treaty, which has been 30 years in the making, and we've worked on so many other items. And we fought the good fight on freedom of information, where the government's rolled it back yet again to basically turn it into freedom from information. And as taxpayers, we really should have access to the information about the decisions that affect us. But today, on this edition, I really want to talk about some of the amazing constituents in this riding. And the first one I want to talk about is Regenerock. A constituent in this riding is heavily involved in that, and it's such a novel concept. So let me tell you all about it. I've seen one of the most beautiful parts of my riding and your community. And one of the folks I want to celebrate today is Deanna Woods with Regenerock. And I want to talk about how the world has changed in a really good way. It used to be, as we all know from when I was a kid, that there was a quarry here, and there was the quarry at Butchard's, and we were quarrying rock for all sorts of different uses. Now we're in the 21st century, and the way that we're approaching it is we're recycling like a circular economy. And Regenerock takes, you know, the building materials and the excavation materials from sites, recycles them into gravels and all sorts of useful aggregates and materials that can be used. So we're actually recycling. And we have in this riding this company and this individual who's making a huge difference for the environment. So I just want to give them a big shout out. You know, I should have mentioned with Regenerock that they're looking at expanding into the Lower Mainland, which is not only an amazing local constituent, amazing company doing a huge amount for the environment, but they're expanding. And so, you know, Lower Mainland, watch out. But what I want to talk about right now is tobacco. And this session, I've worked with another amazing constituent, Leo Levasseur, to tackle the fact that there's still 6,000 people dying every year from cancer because of tobacco. And there's only, not Rexall, there's one drugstore in BC that continues to sell tobacco products, and that's London Drugs. So we've been shining a spotlight on London Drugs and shining a spotlight on the Minister of Health, Josie Osborne, because everywhere else in Canada, tobacco sales from pharmacies are banned. And so we'd like to see that in BC too, and stop the one last holdout, London Drugs, from selling tobacco products. You can see my question period question, but a big shout out to Leo, who's been advocating for over 10 years to get this ridiculous exception to good common sense eliminated and stop London Drugs selling tobacco products. You know, I'm sure that later this summer we're going to have a lot of sun. And you know, the thing about having a lot of sun is it reminds me of another amazing constituent, Tanis Whiteman, 91-year-old climate activist in our riding, who gave every MLA in the legislature a copy of Bill McKibben's new book, Here Comes the Sun, which really focuses on solar as the solution to this huge climate crisis we're facing. And so I just want to give a huge shout out to Tanis for all of her work and her contribution. I know that MLAs in the legislature really appreciated getting her book. And wow, we can all be inspired in the work that she's doing at 91 to take on the climate crisis. Something I forgot to mention when I mentioned the Finns being #1 in happiness in the world is we're at number 25. So why aren't we at #1? So, you know, that's when you try and describe the work that I'm doing on your behalf and making sure I'm working for you and your concerns as constituents. My overall goal is we should be #1 in happiness too, here in this riding. And so that's certainly, if you ask me, what am I working on? It's to get us to #1, just like the Finns. And that might involve everybody taking a sauna and jumping in the ocean every morning, but I'll leave that up to you. Well, here we are, Saanich Fair. That's only one of the stops that I'm looking forward to this summer. I'm planning to visit all of the islands and spend time in parades and events all through the riding and knocking on doors so I can meet with you and see what's on your mind and make sure that I'm representing you. But you know, the summer is a real highlight for me, and the Saanich Fair is just an amazing fair. So I hope to see you there or at one of the other events, pride parades, all sorts of parades and events coming up. So have a great summer and see you later this month or in August or September.